Hello guys, how's everything going? I am Tonia Emanuel from Coach U 360, and I have been contemplating starting this YouTube channel forever. There's a couple of videos here and there, and I was just trying to get comfortable and make a decision. When am I going to start this channel? And finally dial into what I'm really passionate about, and that is love and relationships and really getting to your soul and core level of what you like to do. So what I do is I am a life and relationship coach, and I always use relationship coaching because I believe in building relationships, just not dating. Dating is, of course, a part of it in courtship and marriage. I don't do marriage. I only do people who are single and coming out of relationships, and I really like to do work with toxic and narcissistic relationships and helping women feel more empowered to come through those relationships. And so today for me is a really important day. And so I said, I have all these emotions and all these feelings about going to court for my son's father. We are back in court again, and he is a narcissist. He's a complete, total narcissist, and dealing with that relationship and having to co-parent with him has absolutely been the most trying, excuse me, I need some of my tea, experiences of my life. It has also been the largest learning experience, because if I hadn't have gone through this, I wouldn't have learned so much that I've learned about myself, about people, and I don't even think I would have started my coaching journey and my self-care and really been able to really connect with myself at such a deep level to get to know myself and get connected with the therapy that I needed and the coaches and the support system that I needed. I think I would have just spent the rest of my days just pretending that I'm Superwoman. I'm sure you know. So dealing with any toxic relationship, whether it's a parenting relationship, whether it's a friend relationship, professional or personal, because you can have a professional toxic relationship and you can also be working with narcissistic people at work, is so difficult. And you come out of that relationship being a completely different person. You can literally be shattered into 1,000 different versions of who you used to be, who you thought you were, and who you are today. And it could feel almost like having blinders on. But I am here to tell you that you can absolutely get through this. It requires a lot of inner work and a lot of deep work. Whether you're dealing with somebody who is toxic or narcissistic, this channel, I really want to be about how to come through that successfully. So I will start with myself. And today, like I said, we're going back to court again because we are having a very tough time co-parenting. And what I realize is that the bottom line is you cannot co-parent with a narcissist. It just is impossible. I have tried every way from Sunday right down to actually allowing him to have visitations in my home for hours on end, and me actually leaving the house just so he could spend time with my son, until you have to realize the point is that this person is literally unable to do anything but battle with you 24/7. Any type of emotions, especially when you are not together and it is not what they want, they will constantly find a way to antagonize, belittle, befriend, or try to invoke any type of emotions that they can out of you. And you have to figure out a way to literally become a rock. Like, yes, like that. Any type of emotions that you evoke with somebody who is a narcissist will immediately give them the rush that they're looking for. And it is not what you want to do, because if you're familiar with dealing with narcissism, one of the things you find is the crazy eight. The crazy eight begins with, he could be he or she, this applies to males and females, because I do understand that there are plenty of women who are narcissists. And also I do understand that a lot of times we use this phrase narcissist when somebody might have narcissistic traits, and you could very well be in a toxic relationship. That is not the same thing. This is for people who are truly dealing with a narcissist or somebody who is borderline sociopath. Sounds deep. It is. And let me tell you something. As much as we want to believe that they care about their children on some sort of level, there's really nothing you can do to prove or disprove that they do, only outside of their behavior. Their behavior is very self-centered. It isn't going to matter how much you try to appease them or give them what they need. You're never going to get the response that you want. So I'm here to tell you right now, you can just stop. Stop trying to figure out what it is that you can do or what it is that you can say to help this person connect with you, right? My throat gets so dry. I have worked with a therapist, several coaches. I have amazing support teams. I do this. I have read books. I have done so much work, and I do understand that I am 100% responsible for me, my emotions, and my behavior, and how I respond towards him. Okay? The first thing you have to do is completely take control of yourself. And I will tell you, even today, as much work as I've done, I feel nervous. I feel like I want to go back into that little tunnel and try and figure out if there's a way that we can make some sort of resolution, because you want to try to create peace. But I know that this person does not have the ability to do what is required to have a healthy relationship, because that is not how they're built. They are built very differently. Every emotion that they receive and or have is completely off of something else. It is always an emotion of what they can get. They will always blame. They will always make accusations. They will always see things the way that they see them in the world. And again, you have to realize that narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, is a real disorder. It is a medical disorder. It is like saying psychopath, sociopath, any type of mental disorder. That is what these people are functioning with. So whatever part of their frontal lobe is not triggering off for the emotional part, you have to understand they don't have the empathy towards you to give you what you need. What do you do about co-parenting? That is a very hard thing, because you have to realize that you're not co-parenting. I heard this term called parallel parenting, and you're right. It is. I think that's the best way to describe what this is. If the person is at least safe for your child to be with, like you know that this person can take your child and they may not do things that you agree with or handle things the right way. They might even bash you some on the side to the child, or talk about you, or just is so obsessively negative. And so you're really concerned about how that's going to seep into your child. But if your child is old enough and you do know that the child is at least safe, as a healthy parent, once you start doing the work for yourself and in yourself, and start healing that anger, that bitterness, and that truly feeling of abandonment, because it's a very lonely world dealing with somebody who is narcissistic. It's very lonely being in a toxic relationship where someone only considers themselves. So being in that world has done so much to you that some people don't even realize it's happening. You don't even realize how cold and distant you've become from dealing with this person. You don't realize how you've alienated family and friends, and how your personality has really shifted. And so what you want to do is get back to who you were. And that's going to take a lot of work. Unfortunately, I hate to tell you, it does. Some people will shut down. I've had clients that have completely shut down, walled themselves off, and they're like, I'm not worried about it. I'm fine. It's okay. Nope, I'm good. And they jump right back into relationships and dating, and they repeat the cycle all over again. But it could be a different piece of that narcissistic relationship that they duplicate that is not 100% the narcissist, right? The NPD, it's not that, but there's a piece of that selfishness in the next relationship that they have, or it's a piece of where they are constantly trying to appease, or they're fawning. And fawning is a term that they use when that person is constantly trying to stroke the other person into giving them the empathy or the sympathy that they need. Or they're always in a fight or flight mode. So they're always battling with their new partner, because the partner might not have any issues at all, but they're constantly fighting with the new partner. And they're like, I'm always arguing with him and telling him what to do, and I feel like I always have to protect myself. But you're actually not being attacked. And you don't even see that you're not being attacked. Or there's some people who have a flight mechanism, and they literally run from every single conversation or anything that goes on. If there's any confrontation, that's another issue. So you have fight, flight, fawning, and what you want to do is at least recognize it, because if you recognize it, you can actually do something about it, or get the help that you need so that you can move on and try to repair what is remaining of your life. And you have a long, beautiful life outside and on the other side of this. And I know when you're in it, it is so dark and it is so deep that you're like, I cannot possibly see how I could ever get through this. It is a crazy whirlwind. And I even know people who have been in toxic relationships where the person isn't quite narcissistic, but they have a lot of characteristics and they're very selfish and self-centered. But you need to, number one, start to educate yourself on it, but don't go too deep, because you really can start to spin on it, and you don't want to do that. The truth of the matter is, it's really all about you. It's not about them. It's about finding out why you are in the situation you're in, or why you keep attracting the same people in your life. And that's an inner thing. That is not an outer thing. That person needs to deal with themselves, and you need to deal with yourself. And if you are the sole provider for your children, you have to get healthy. You have to take care of yourself, and you have to start digging in and finding out, what you need to do to either take care of the guilt, the shame, the embarrassment, the anger, the resentment, all those tangled up crazy emotions. And if you don't feel like you have any emotions, that's okay too. I completely get it. It sometimes feels so much safer not to even touch any emotion. So if I just function duh, 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 every single day, it'll all be fine. And it won't. It'll come up again and again and again in certain situations and in every single area of your relationships, even with your children. It just will. People love to say, oh, just forget about it. Don't worry about it. Get over it. It doesn't work that way. It shows its ugly little head again and again. And so really what you want to do is you want to dig out the gold in the dust. The diamonds in the dust is what I like to call it. And you really want to find out and own all of those negative parts of you and start to honor them and give them sympathy for why they're there. If you're angry, usually anger has a core of fear, period. And what was the fear? And why was it there? When did you first feel that? How far back can you go? Because it didn't start with your narcissistic partner. It didn't start with a toxic relationship. It was well there before this person was ever even able to enter your life, because you actually gave them the key to be there. You opened the door, and even when you saw red flags, you still let them in. It's the same thing over and over. And I can tell you it's what it is because I've been there on multiple occasions. And guess what? Every single time where I felt like I was improving in the relationship and the person was a little bit better than the last person, maybe they had more money, or, maybe they felt like they treated me better, really the root of it was 10 times worse. Because what I thought I was getting away from was actually something that I hadn't dealt with. And so I didn't see what was under the surface of all of it, which really started with me. And so in order to bring this back around, for me to be a better parent, to be able to be with him and be an effective parent and parallel parent, I have to really have strong boundaries and stick to what is best for my son. Nothing else matters. I don't care about how he feels. I don't care about his tantrums in his texts. I don't care about what calls me, because words are a big thing. Words can be your confinement, because once you've done dealing with the narcissist and you think the relationship is over, the crazy part is you still hear the words in your head. You'll go to do something or try a new adventure or date someone else or do something different, and you'll hear them in the back of your mind. You're not good enough. You're a cunt. You're a whore. Nobody's ever going to want you. Why would somebody love you? You will hear all those things that they've said to you in your head still playing like ticker tapes. But the interesting thing about it is they weren't the first person to say it to you. They weren't the first person to say it to you. Hence is the reason why they're able to get away with it so freely, because that door was already open. But nobody can hurt you or abuse you unless you give them the key to do it. And that is truly, truly the key to your healing and understanding, is that you have to take responsibility for allowing the person in, because the first time you were with them, there was something in your soul that said, this ain't it. This ain't the one. Even if the sex was great and y'all was getting it and the bumping and grinding was all that, you knew he was not the one. He or she was not the one. There was something there. And that's where you really want to get back to. You want to get back to being able to trust yourself, trusting your intuition, trusting who you are, and really knowing in your spirit, no matter what's going on in the outside world, because you can have narcissists that are very charismatic and everyone loves them because they don't know what he's really like when he gets inside of the house or when he's in your ear. And some of them are very loving and they do this. And again, that's that crazy 8, because they do very loving things, but then they do stuff that make you feel very sad and very guilty. And then you come back up to complete anger, and then now you're back into do something that makes you happy. And they do things called gaslighting. They love to gaslight, and they love to then, after they gaslight, the situation is blown up and all this emotion is going on. Because remember, a narcissist doesn't have real emotions, okay? So they need your emotions to feed off of. You are their power source. Every time you give them something, anger, grief, every time you cry, you have now filled them in some way, somehow. They're getting what they need off of you, and then the rest of the part is just using you. And it's just using you up and using your energy. And they will do the same thing to their children. And they will do the same thing to anyone who is around them, who allows that person to do that to them, And that's not your problem. Your issue is healing yourself so that you can then build a legacy for you and your family. And so for me, my outlet and my ability to also help heal myself lies in my coaching. It is very therapeutic for me to empower other women and men to move past traumatic relationships, whether they were relationships as children or whether these are relationships as adults that you have made conscious choices to be in and just haven't freed yourself from. And it could be personal or professional. But what I love to do, what I'm passionate about, is reconnecting with your soul. And it's absolutely possible, I promise you. And ultimately, you will get to a place where you will be able to have complete healthy boundaries and know that what you are doing is the right thing for you and it's the right thing for your family. And nobody will be able to come in between that, because it'll be at your soul level. It'll be at the goddess in you level. The God is in you level. You will feel it. You will know it, that this is the right thing to do. And nobody else can tell you that. And so I'm Tonia Emanuel. I am a coach. I am a lover. I am a friend. And I have been through abusive relationships, from parent relationships to personal relationships and professional relationships. And I'm healing myself. And my whole goal and passion in life is for women to heal themselves and come back into the power that they know they really have and that they truly deserve. So this is my first real video that is my passion purpose video. Other things I'll share with you is that I love to be known as the cussing Christian. I cuss a lot, and I'm a Christian, and God loves me. And guess what? God does not call a tree a tree. So therefore, if you feel some type of way about words and cuss words, that's on you. I'm probably not your coach. This is probably not your channel. And that's perfectly fine, because there are a lot of amazing people and amazing coaches in the world. And you need to go out there and find them. Connect with your soul and connect with yourself, because this is your life. And you only have one life to live. And so you better go get it, girl. I love you. 360. And I'm Tonia Emanuel, checking out. If you would like to connect with me, hit the subscribe button. And you can also find me on IG at Tonia, Tonia, Coach You 360. And you can find me at my website, www.coachyou360.com. And always remember that you are the baddest bitch goddess ever. So act like it. Take care.